when they found that ancient Greek computer thing, on what is that called?
The Antikythera Mechanism.
Yeah. Is that a recreation of it?
That's a recreation of something like it, yeah.
It is, in a sense, you could describe it as being the technological side of the Greek miracle.
A ship drowns, statues sleep, a bronze box rots in the dark. 2,000 years later, the box splits and the room goes silent. Gears, calendars, eclipses on command. Then the scans arrive. Patterns appear where eyes fail. An AI lines up symbols, dates, and routes, and the picture turns grim. The mechanism may be a key, not a trophy. Turn it the wrong way, and it points to other sites. Someone wanted this trail cold. We just warmed it up. We follow it now. Stay with the signal. What happens if the next site is active? The bronze lump sat on a museum table like it did not belong. 2,000 years in salt water had chewed it thin. The green crust clung to it like a second skin. A curator, Valerio Steas, leaned close in 1902. He lifted a lens. He saw tiny teeth in metal, not random bites, gear teeth, sharp, even, aligned. The room went quiet. History had said the ancient world used pulleys and levers. This thing whispered ratios. They pried the mass apart. It cracked like dry fruit. Inside were plates and wheels. Some were no bigger than coins. One large gear was about 13 centimeters across. The edges were cut with care. Numbers and Greek letters hid in the scars. Some lines read like quick notes. Sun, moon, months, games. The team counted teeth. They matched patterns. The bronze had been shaped by a skilled hand, then recycled, then shaped again. That hint mattered. If this was a clock, it was early by more than 1,000 years. If it was a model of the sky, it was precise in a way few expected. The smallest teeth were about 1 millimeter long, clean, repeatable. That takes tools. That takes planning. Who had both at that time? The question hung in the air like smoke. X-rays later showed even more parts were locked inside the lump. Layers on layers, interlocked trains. Turn one wheel and the others answered. It did not point to myth. It pointed to math. Someone had built a machine to track cycles, count days, and predict shadows across the sun. But if that is true, then where were the workshops? Where were the copies? Where were the plans that teach the next builder? The table fell silent again. What else was hidden in plain sight all along? The sea near Antikythera turns black in a storm. The year is around 60 BCE. A merchant ship fights the waves, sails rip, the mast groans, the hull gives. The ship goes under fast. It is heavy with cargo, amphorae of wine and oil, bronze and marble statues from Greek workshops, fine glass from Egypt, carved stone from Asia Minor, and, wrapped deep in cloth, a bronze device no one alive will understand for 2,000 years. The sea closes over it. The world forgets. In 1900, sponge divers from Simi drop lines here. They expect sand and silence. Elias Lykopantis goes down to 40 meters. He bursts back up, shaking. He says he saw bodies, rows of them. The captain, Dimitrios Kondos, thinks it is the Benz. He dives to check. Down there, the bodies are statues, limbs, faces, a bronze arm reaching from the seabed like it wants air. Word spreads. The Greek government sends help. What follows becomes the world's first underwater archaeological dig. Men in canvas suits and brass helmets walk the bottom. They haul marble torsos into the light. They bring up coins that point to a date between 76 and 67 BCE. The timeline begins to narrow. The cargo is not random. It looks curated. Masterpieces, rare glass, precision metalwork. A collector or a powerful buyer in Rome seems to be waiting. This is a shipment of status and science, not simple trade. Then a lump of bronze comes up with the statues. It looks like junk, corroded, flaking. It sits for months, maybe years, before a careful eye sees a line of teeth along a broken edge. Not a saw, a gear. One gear means another. One dial means a face. A mechanism waits inside the rot. If a machine like this sailed once, did others sail too? And if they reached Rome, where did they end up? And who turned the crank? Turn the face and the story appears. A circular dial sits up front, ringed with marks. Inside is the zodiac, 12 signs, clean and even. Each slice holds 30 neat steps. This is not decoration. It tracks where the sun seems to move across the sky. Turn the main wheel and the pointer glides through the stars.
Around it runs another ring, tied to the Egyptian calendar. That calendar drifts a little each year. The device corrects for that drift. Someone knew time slips. Someone planned for it. Who writes a fix into metal unless they test it first? Now follow the moon. A small ball, half dark and half light, sits on a pointer. As the gears turn, the ball spins. White becomes black. Black becomes white. The phase matches the night sky. Here is the wild part. The gearing also copies the moon's odd speed. The moon does not move steadily. It speeds up and slows down. This machine mimics that wobble with math in metal. Flip to the back. 5 dials share the plate. The big one is for the Saros cycle. That is an eclipse clock. Line up the marks and you can forecast when the sun or moon will go dark, years in advance. Smaller dials lock into it. They show longer rhythms that repeat over decades. A crank turns fate into dates. There is more human stuff here too. One scale marks games and festivals. The Olympic cycle is on the metal itself. To the maker, sports, faith, and the sky were part of one system. Time on Earth matched time above. Tiny Greek letters cover the plates like a manual. Not poetry. Instructions. Turn here. Read there. If a user followed the steps, the machine would answer them. But clean answers raise sharper questions. If this is one machine, who designed the rules behind it, and how precise did they dare to go next? Modern watchmakers study the teeth and blink. Each tooth is about 1 millimeter long, even, repeatable, clean. This was handwork. No factory lines, no electric mills. A file, a saw, a steady hand. Yet the teeth mesh with little backlash. Turn the main gear and the train moves smoothly. That means careful layout. It means jigs and gauges we have not found. The bronze is not a random scrap. It is a chosen mix. Hard enough to hold shape, soft enough to file. Low friction against pins and plates. Surfaces show hammer marks, then fine strokes from a file. Shoulders are square. Arbors sit true. Bearings were likely greased with oil or wax. Someone knew how metal behaves over time. Look at the counts. A large wheel carries exactly 233 teeth. That is not a guess. It serves a ratio. Other gears lock to it to copy the moon's odd speed. That choice means math came first, metal second. Draft, calculate, check, then cut. Who wrote those numbers? Tiny inscriptions help the user read the dials, but they also hint at the build. Lines are straight. Letters are small but legible. The plates are flat enough that pointers sweep without scraping. That calls for planning, scraping, and testing. You do not get that by luck. Think about the shop. You need heat for bronze. You need molds. You need tools for marking circles and dividing teeth. You need a way to hold small parts without bending them. You need a master who signs off when the mesh feels right. This is the division of labor centuries early. Where is that shop on the map? Cost matters too. Time is money. A device like this eats thousands of work hours. It is not for a village clock shelf. It is for a patron with reach, a ruler, a rich scholar, a Roman buyer hungry for wonders. If more existed, they sat in safe rooms, not markets. The device works because choices stack. Alloy, layout, counts, finish, grease, fit. One sloppy step and the moon lies. Nothing here is sloppy. So if they could do this once, why did the skill vanish? And who decided which hands would never learn it? Names begin to surface with the gears. Cicero wrote about machines that showed the sky. He said one was by Archimedes, another by Posidonius. They turned and the stars moved in step. The words are old, but the idea fits. A model of the heavens. In hand, in metal. If those devices were real, this one may be their kin. The inscriptions point to places. Month names match Corinthian use. Festival marks match Greek city calendars. Some details lean toward Rhodes. Rhodes was a hub for math and maps.
Hipparchus worked there. He studied the moon's odd path. He wrote tables to track its speed changes. The Antikythera gearing copies that wobble. That echo is hard to ignore. Coins from the wreck frame a date in the 1st century BCE. The device seems older in spirit. It may have been built earlier and shipped later. A calibration point hides in the text. A winter solstice in the 2nd century BCE. That looks like a start setting, not a birth date. Someone aligned the device to a known sky. Then they sent it on. Who sent it and to whom? Rome was hungry for Greek wonders. Generals filled villas with art and tools of mind. A device that predicts eclipses is not a toy. It is prestigious. It is a control of time on display. Picture a private room, shelves of scrolls, a bronze box on a table. A patron turns the knob. The room waits. The pointer lands. The next festival date appears. Power feels real in that moment. But the trail bends. Corinth, Rhodes, Epirus, Asia Minor, Egypt. The cargo mixed all of them. The ship looked like a moving museum, a collector's hall, or a scholar's project, or both. Knowledge did not sit in one port. It traveled by sea. If this lineage is right, an invisible line runs from Archimedes to Hipparchus to unknown hands at a bench. The math leaps to brass. The brass boards a ship. Then the sea takes it. If one chain reached Rome, how many others survived the trip and vanished in floods of history without leaving a gear behind?
Look closer, and the device starts to speak many tongues. Babylon taught the sky in numbers. Egypt kept time by months that drift. Greece turned math into models. Syria worked bronze until it felt like silk. All of that lives inside these gears. It is not one city, it is a network. The sea was the road. Ships carried wine, marble, and glass. They also carried tables, star lists, and tricks of the hand. A captain could sail from Alexandria to Rhodes, then up to Corinth, then west to Sicily, and hear the same star names in new accents. Ideas traveled faster than armies. That matters. Start here, from the voice 3. Open the front ring. See the zodiac. Greek names, yes, but the spacing hints at older notes that came from the east. Flip the back. The eclipse style follows a cycle known to Babylon for centuries. It is not copied word for word, it is tuned. That is a tell. Someone compared sources, someone merged them. The device is a metal meeting in metal. Now think of the shops, casting bronze in one port, filing and dividing teeth in another, inscribing letters where the language fits the buyer. A plate could be poured near Antioch, sailed to Rhodes for cutting, then sent to Corinth for final marks. Piece by piece, the box becomes a brain. How many hands touched it? More than a few. Ports tie the map together. Alexandria with its libraries and scribes. Rhodes with star watchers and map makers, Pergamon with scholars who fought for every scroll, Syracuse with the ghost of Archimedes. Each place adds a layer, each layer tightens the mesh. One bad link and the chain breaks. This chain held. Why build such a mix? Because mixed tools are stronger. Babylonian cycles spot the long rhythm. Greek geometry turns that rhythm into ratios. Egyptian calendars keep civic life in step. Syrian metalwork makes it last. The result is not pretty legend, it is practical power. Set a date, count a season, predict a shadow, then act. But networks can vanish. Storms sink ships. Fires eat archives. Wars move borders and kill teachers. If the road breaks, the knowledge stops moving. A machine like this then becomes a relic no one can repair. So the map that made the mechanism also shows how it could disappear. If one road closed, what else fell silent with it? And who still remembers the route? Great tools do not die, they fade. A workshop closes, a teacher is lost, a road goes quiet, then a skill slips out of reach. History shows the pattern. Around 1200 BCE, the Bronze Age cracked. Cities burned, trade routes stopped, scripts were forgotten. When the roots die, ideas die with them. The same risk haunts every age. Libraries fall too. The great stacks at Alexandria went dark. Thousands of scrolls turned to ash. Tables, star lists, tool notes, gone. A device like this needs more than bronze. It needs memory. It needs mentors. Fire steals both.
When Rome fell, many schools in the West thinned out. Crafts survived in pockets. Some knowledge walked east, some hid in monasteries, some lived in hands, not books. If those hands were lost, the knowledge went quiet. A machine with a broken pointer is a puzzle. A puzzle without its reader is a brick. Economics cuts deep as well. A mechanism like this costs years of labor. It needs a patron who cares. If money shifts to war or walls or courts, fine gearwork slows. Metal gets melted. Bronze is valuable. A lost machine becomes raw feed for a spear. The clever work ends in a furnace. That is not a myth, that is the budget. Time harms tools. Salt eats bronze. Wood rots. Grease dries. One bent pin can stop the show. If a shop cannot make the spare, the box goes on a shelf. Then a back room. Then a sale. Then a scrap pile. The line breaks. So why did this one survive? Because it fell. The sea turned it into a time capsule. Sand covered it. Worms left it. Looters could not reach it. A storm became a vault. The same wave that killed the crew saved the machine. Think of the odds. How many others never sank? How many were smelted and poured into coins we count today? If the best proof needed a shipwreck to live, what else is missing between the lines of our books? And if a single survivor can change the story this much, what happens when we find the second? We went back to the fragments with better eyes. CT scans sliced the bronze without touching it. Layer by layer, hidden gears appeared. Reflectance imaging lit the surface from many angles. Faint letters woke up. Short notes, tiny marks, a manual in metal. The device felt less like a mystery and more like a system you could learn. But each answer opened a new gap. Scholars rebuilt the trains in software. They turned a virtual crank and watched pointers move. The moonball flipped from light to dark in step. The eclipse dial rolled forward along the Saros rhythm. In tests, the model hit known eclipse dates in the ancient sky. Close. Not perfect, but close enough to be useful. That alone changes how we picture the past. Yet the scans whispered more. What did we miss?